All right, the main theme is always a great way to start off a stream. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We're trying out something a little bit different. We haven't done something like this before. For now, we're calling it the Skyblivion Progress Report. We're hoping to do this once every month, or every 2 months. Essentially, what it is a live podcast type show. We talk about the progress we've made, and we are showcasing some of that progress on the stream. As I'm saying that, I'm realizing I'm forgetting something that's very important. Slight spoiler, it is spellcrafting for Skyrim, which I meant to showcase. So I need to get that video ready. There we go. Which is going to be pretty exciting to showcase. Yeah, throughout the stream, we're just going to be showing off everything that we've worked on. We're going to start off with the landscaping department. Then we're going to move on to the texture department, or 3D. I don't really have a script ready. This is kind of improvised, so bear with us. Didn't have a whole lot of time to improvise or to prepare this. So yeah, we'll just wing it, no problem. Yeah, I think having that said, we might as well just start with Ollie, who's been working on the Nibene Basin, who should be joining us on Discord any minute. So yeah, once he does join us, please give him a warm welcome on Twitch, YouTube. For the people who didn't know, we're streaming on both Twitch and YouTube today. Usually it's just Twitch, but these kind of bigger streams, we want to have live on 2 platforms. So if one doesn't work for you, please try the other.
Hello, by the Rebel.
Hey man,
Hey.
welcome. Oh, I had something prepared. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Sorry.
There we go. Okay, you can hear it, but there's clapping in the background. All right, welcome. Thank you very much for being the first to actually do this.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, as I said, I didn't really prepare anything. I only just got home, and I actually meant to do this an hour earlier. So let me just grab the screenshots of your area, and by all means, just talk about what you've done and what the aim is for the area, what we're trying to achieve. Maybe mention some real-life references or your workflow or anything. Yeah. As I said, we're gonna wing it, so good luck.
No worries. Let's do this. By the way, hello everyone.
All right, screenshots are ready to go, so ready when you are.
Excellent. So yeah, this was one of the things I was actually very proud of, and it's the lake just underneath Jadenhall. There's 2 caves, one either side. But it was the start of one of the rivers. I can't remember which river it is actually off the top of my head. I'm just going to bring up a map while I talk. But it was very flat and very almost dull. There was nothing really going on.
I think it's the Red River, by the way.
The Red River. So it needed a bit more, something more interesting going on, and obviously rivers do flow downstream. So I raised it up quite a fair bit, allowing me to put some waterfalls in. I'm still going to be able to do a lot more with it, but yeah, from the first screenshot, I think it just shows off what I've been able to do. Whereas before that was just a flat river that it didn't really have any flow to it. You couldn't see anything flowing, just a water basin. So I think it looks a lot better.
Yeah, it was also one of those many, I think, like ravine sort of like rivers, where as soon as you fell in, you were kind of trapped, and you had to follow it downstream until you could get to a point where you could get out of it.
Yeah.
Like really high walls on either side of it. Really strange.
Yeah. It was just almost like a cavern almost. It was just so high on either side that you just couldn't escape unless you found somewhere flat enough to get out.
Yeah.
So Whereas obviously I was saying before, the river was quite flat. The actual landscape around it is a lot flatter now, so it's a lot easier to maneuver and just work with in general, really.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's quite cool because this was in the trailer. This is where we went underground and saw the Alien Ruin.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time working on this, making sure it looked perfect for the trailer.
Yeah, I think we revisited this area like 20 times at the very least. Every time making like very minor changes until it was just right.
Yeah, but it does look amazing. So it wasn't very obvious from the start that it was an alien ruin underneath. So we obviously made a lot of adjustments there to sort of give off the impression of an alien ruin. The rubble being, the main key part, but also making it so that it's using actual Skyrim meshes for the actual cave entrance as well, because it used to have the old rock that was just there.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more obvious now that people have actually gone in and explored it and started to figure out that there was an alien ruin. So, yeah, a lot better now in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm gonna show actually a few shots of this specific alien ruin, because there's also the underwater part that you added, which I thought was a really nice touch.
The alien well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So I'm actually pulling up the picture of the lake as seen from like the waterfall, back to the when you're with chain all to your back, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
And for the people with a good eye, you can spot a piece of like alien architecture in the lake to the left. There's a tiny piece sticking out of the water.
So yeah, underneath the lake's an alien well.
Yeah, exactly. From which you can actually draw power.
I didn't actually know whether to put. You remember we did that beam for the one outside of the Imperial City?
Yeah.
Didn't know whether to do that under there.
Yeah, I think doing it with this one would kind of make it too obvious. I kind of like how it's very faint, very, very hard to spot.
I sound distinctively Irish. I don't know how much Irish I have in me.
Maybe have a chat with Deke.
Yeah, when Deke comes on, then you'll see distinctive Irish.
I hope he will actually be able to join us. I haven't seen him on stream yet. No. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I got some more shots closer towards Harrow Hill, just below it.
Oh yes, yeah.
An area which I liked, which is actually quite close still to the lake.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a lot of the time, and you'll probably know this, it was finding the balance of rocks and grass areas. Because it is, the Nimine, it didn't have a lot of rocks. It had a lot of very small rocks, but it was a very grassy area. So just getting the sort of the right balance between a nice rocky, almost cliffside, and a lovely hill, which I think is going well, but that's what stage 2 is going to be about, is getting it right.
Yeah. Currently there's a lot of experimentation, and then, well...
Yeah, definitely.
Sooner or later you'll figure out which direction is best for the area.
Yeah.
But that's with every new area. At first we only had like 2 landscapers, so working on landscaping was fairly easy because, well, there were only 2 people. Now we have an actual, like, a real department with almost a dozen people. And every time a new landscaper claims one of the newer areas that haven't really been worked on yet, it becomes very important to kind of sit down together and talk about what the area is supposed to look like, also from a lore perspective, since that's obviously very important to the project. A lot of modders are used to kind of just doing their own thing and doing whatever looks awesome. And even though this is, of course, highly encouraged because awesome is always great, it kind of has to fit in with the idea and vision of said area. So, for instance, if you were to work on this area and make everything like a bare rock hill, or get rid of all the rivers, then the Nimine Valley or Basin would kind of be, well, not the Nimine. So that's kind of important, but we usually, I don't know, with you, we worked on feedback for I think a week or two, and then
Yeah.
we pretty much found like a good balance between your, I guess, landscaping style and what's
The lore
according
friendly.
according to lore, the area was supposed to look like, and I think we indeed struck a really nice balance. And
I think
obviously
one of the
this,
things that I found when I started up, it was very easy to sort of just start making and start placing loads of rocks because there just wasn't any before. Obviously, Oblivion is very flat and it's just landscaped.
yeah,
So just placing, big mountainsides was easy enough and it looked right. But then going back over it to make it what it is now was definitely worthwhile because it's just so much better and so much cleaner.
yeah. And something else to note is that we're talking about the grasslands and how the Nibene isn't a very rocky area. This is actually the part of the Nibene that's right next to the mountains. So this is a far more rocky area compared to the rest of the Nibene. So I'll pull up. There we go. A much more flat and grassy area, which you've also been working on, which is slightly below Shaden Hall, I think, to the southwest, I think.
Yeah, is this where the lumber mill?
Yeah, it's close to the lumber mill. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shaden Hall was obviously, being a city, was built quite high up compared to the rest of the area. So it was a lot of cliffside around Shaden Hall to give it the impression that there was natural fortification as well as obviously the fortification of the city. But then underneath that, it was a nice flat sort of field almost, and a lot of stuff went on. But it had to be a bit more almost industrial as well because they had a lot of natural resources. There was no obvious answer as to how they were getting this wood to make the city and to supply the Imperial City. So the lumber mill was quite a nice touch, I thought.
Yeah, actually, I didn't make a screenshot of the lumber mill itself, only the area around it.
To be honest.
Yeah, all these screenshots, I had to take them like last minute, and I have 100 tabs open on my PC, so Skyrim was running like crap. So yeah, it didn't really work out the way I planned it to, but oh well. We also have a certain shrine that I have a screenshot of, actually. There we go. Which you made a bit, I guess, darker.
Just waiting for it to change on the stream. I assume it's Vimera.
Yeah, there's a delay of like 10-20 seconds, so...
Yeah, this is it, yeah. I've actually changed it again, actually. Because I had that yellowy sort of dirt path on the floor, and I thought that was too light, so I've changed that again. But yeah, so Vimera's Shrine was really quite barren. There was nothing really going on. It was just sat over a lake, which, yeah, is quite nice. But I thought, Vimera, is it Vimera? Is it Vimera? Vimera, isn't it? I worked on. Yeah, it's right in the top corner. Vimera's Shrine was quite is very evil, a very evil deity. It's not one of those deities that you can sort of think 50-50 like Azura. It's predominantly evil. So I thought they would have to sort of find somewhere where they're not straight in open world space. They want to hide what they're doing.
Yeah.
So a broken fortification made sense. So there's no one there. It wasn't being used for anything. So they built their shrine there. And they've got cover. No one knows what's going on there. But yeah, the area around it, I thought it would be quite nice to sort of have a corrupted area. It sort of really contrasts with the rest of the area. You've got this lovely green, lush zone, and then this one particular spot that's been corrupted.
Yeah.
Very dark. So I thought it was quite nice.
Yeah, good thinking. Glad that did something similar in the area next to, or well, in the vicinity of Skingrad. So there's a necromancer shrine or cult somewhere in one of the Aelid ruins, and it's in a very colorful and pretty area. But around the Aelid ruin, Clef placed a bunch of dead trees to kind of signal that something maybe below the ground is wrong.
Yeah, it's exactly it, and it does look a lot nicer compared to just a green spot with some necromancers on it. It doesn't make a lot of sense otherwise.
Yeah, but yeah, I really liked your take on this this shrine.
Thanks.
So
I'm
nice
quite
job.
proud of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I actually complimented you on it before, but there you go. I really did like it.
Thank you very much.
This is one of the screenshots you actually sent me.
The one with the stars.
No, the next one. You'll see it in a sec.
Yeah. So again, this is another example of sort of the flat, rockless world that you can see in the Nibonay. I thought it was quite nice. The lake. Don't know if you've actually seen this one in game. There's actually the lake goes to a small Aliad fort because it's right below Haim. So I made this sort of Aliad water processing plant that the river flows into.
I don't think I've seen it, actually.
No, I'll have to send you some screenshots at some point. But yeah, it's right below the mountains as well. This is almost as close to the mountains as you can get, but still being in the Nibonay.
Right.
So the fog obviously sort of would flow down the mountains. I was thinking, as obviously clouds do.
Yep.
So the fog over the water, I thought was quite a nice touch.
By any chance, is it nearby the? Well, I'm showing you a screenshot of the Alien Ruin in a sec, or you'll see it in a second. The Alien Ruin that's kind of pasted against the mountainside.
Yes, yeah, that's Haim. That's the exact one.
Right. I totally missed that then, because I did see the Alien Ruin. I did see that in game.
Yeah, I think I worked on that area quite late. That was, what I basically did just before I send it through to be merged.
Yeah,
that's probably why. But yeah, that Alien room was quite interesting because it used to just be the tower in the top right hand corner, and just like a natural slope just to get up to it. So now you sort of snake. It's almost like a serpentine path to get up.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Quite happy with that one.
I am too. Yeah, as I mentioned, I didn't take a lot of screenshots, and I think that might actually be the last one. So either we can talk a bit more about the area. Actually, I have one more, but we kind of already showed it, in a sense. But yeah, if you have anything else to say about the area, or if you want to share something, feel free to do so.
Yeah.
If not, it might be time for Deke to step in.
Yeah, I mean, the area is a work in progress, as obviously the whole thing is. So, any feedback, if anyone has any that's watching this stream, if you're not already on the Discord, get onto our Skyblivion community Discord. There is a feedback section. You can @ me and let me know what you think. But yeah, looking forward to when obviously the merge is finished, we can get working on it again.
Yeah, the good news on the merge, by the way, because well, apparently it's going pretty well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, last update from stupid nicknames from Spectral Dragon was pretty positive. So hopefully we can get started next week. Would be great.
Thank you, Applesauce.
All right. Well, having that said, thank you very, very much for joining us, and keep up the great work. For the people watching, please give Ollie some love on Twitch or on YouTube. Tell him what you think of his work so far, and as he mentioned, please join the Discord. You can give him feedback on the feedback channel, and yeah, thank you very much.
No worries. Enjoy the rest of the stream, everyone. See you in a bit, Rebel.
Peace out, man. Thank you very much. All right, and then it's to the Irishman.
He's already here.
Ooh, you're fast. Damn.
I literally just got in, so you're lucky.
Oh, great. Okay, well, next up we have Deke, or D, or Dekeys. He is the landscaper, the Irish landscaper, working on Blackwood, a massive area near the right-hand bottom of the map, which was supposed to be swamp marsh-ish. Didn't quite look the part in Oblivion, I have to admit.
Yeah.
But D is doing a great job at bringing back those marshes. As soon as I have screenshots, we can show you what it looks like now. There we go. So D, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us again. Oh,
Yeah.
right. I forgot the claps. There you go. Thank you, D, for joining us. Everyone,
No
please
problem.
applaud.
I can't hear any applause.
No, I know
We're gonna
you
have to-
can't. It's
we'll have
just
to do it
it's
live.
for the
Do it
people
later.
watching, you know. To get
Still
them
can't hear
hyped.
applause. Do it louder. Do it louder, people.
All right, so you've been working on Blackwood for how long now? Half a year, maybe, give or take.
Over
Over a year. Oh God, time flies.
Yeah. It's okay.
To be fair, you had to you started working on Blackwood when we weren't gonna flatten it, and then you kind of had to start over from scratch.
I think maybe it was about 2 or 3 months, maybe of work before we decided to
Yeah.
flatten it.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, I always wanted to flatten it, but up until that point, we hadn't gotten the all clear to do that because of the quest compatibilities, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So once we did, yeah, your life kind of became a living hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry about that. But yeah, tell us what your vision is for this area, what you've been doing, and well, like I said with Ollie, just kind of wing it, have fun.
Yeah, it seems like each of the landscapers want to sort of create their own little smaller world within Cyrodiil.
Yeah.
Mine's definitely to make this sort of this taste of Black Marsh, to maybe give people a thought of what Black Marsh might look like if they could get past those borders. So mine's definitely that sort of dreary, foggy, kind of give the player a sense when they leave Blackwood that they're glad and they don't want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Just somewhere sort of creepy and hostile.
Actually, the last screenshot you sent me this morning, with the nice foggy weather from Stade,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of realized that, well, for us playing the game right now is a bit odd and very familiar because you're creating the place that you're walking through yourself.
Yeah.
But when I saw those screenshots, I felt like Blackwood right now, thanks to the new weathers and obviously your fantastic landscaping work, might become my favorite area for the sole reason that because of the foggy weather, which tends to be there quite a lot, you can run through this area and complete like every dungeon 100 times, but once that fog hits you, you will still be able to get lost because I ran around Blackwood 2 days ago for a few hours, and your screenshots, especially with the weather and being taken from different angles than when I was walking through it, I didn't recognize a single one except for the Aelid rune that I keep praising you for. So yeah,
it's actually been a while since I've ran around it for quite a long while, like in game, rather than just have the clear weather in the creation kit. Now, it's the funny thing. I was actually using the Gold Coast fog weathers for that.
Oh really?
For some of them, there's a couple of shots where the sort of fogginess is a little bit wider, a bit brighter, and that's definitely the Gold Coast fogs. I just felt like that really looked good for the screenshots because Stade's still working on Blackwood's weathers right now.
Well, it totally worked out for the better, so good instincts. Okay, I'm looking at one of these screenshots, and I think a nice area to start is actually the shrine. Where is she? There she is. Oh, skipped it. My bad. Oh Christ.
Nocturnals.
Yeah, Nocturnal Shrine. I had a few screenshots of her. There we go. So, what you did with Nocturnal Shrine was pretty interesting with the lily pads and the candles. And can you share what's behind that? What's the purpose of those candles and the lily pads? And
well, I think originally, because it was a bit different, what I had done with the Mirror Shrine, I had made sort of the entrance hidden because it's Nocturnal Shrine. I decided to maybe find a way to hide the shrine would be good character for it. But it didn't really turn out as well because you kind of have to think about the players. I hid it too well, and the only person who knew where the entrance was the person who landscaped it.
Mhm.
So I had to go about trying to find a way where it's like you said, when you're walking about, you can get lost kind of easily in that fog.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to make it, quite difficult to even find this shrine within the fog, but I had to go back on that. So there's more than one entrance now, but I've sort of hidden the shrine with a lot of trees. So I've tried to make it as hard to see as possible from like a distance. So
Yeah.
that's the way I've gone about.
I think the revision was actually a big improvement because at first you had kind of the shrine surrounded by these rock formations, which kind of hinted towards there being something behind the wall.
Yeah, kind of defeated it.
Yeah, which
opposite.
isn't a bad thing at all, because, like you said, there was one hidden entrance which was pretty hard to find, so you can get into it easily. But now you have a shrine that's kind of impossible to find because it's so well hidden within the environment itself. Like the shrine is at least partially covered by these stones that shroud or cover her back, so you can only see like the front of the statue.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, with the trees surrounding it and the smaller rock formations, it's kind of like a hidden. I don't know. It seems like an empty hidden lake, but only with like weird candles and an airy feeling to it.
Yeah, and the candles, I decided because I wanted the lake to be like a normal sort of deepness rather than the player be able to, walk on the water. So that's what the candles sort of light the path that you can walk on where the water is shallow enough.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. I really, really like that.
And I believe the rock formations like around the shrine itself, I actually got that from one of the concept arts. It might have been...
Yeah,
might have been
Rob.
Yeah.
I'll grab that actually. Good call.
I probably should have got a better shot of it, like so you could compare them.
No, it's fine. There we go. Yeah, this is the concept art done by Rob for, well, this exact shrine, which does look very similar. Only difference, well, the only big difference is the old statue still being there.
Oh yeah. We're looking forward to the new ones.
Yeah, Rob actually made a 3D statue himself, which he sent to Shoe Monkey, who does all our Daedric and Aedric statues, because he's kind of a lore master and knows exactly how to portray them accurately. So, I don't know, I hope we can actually get that statue. Well, it won't be in the next 3D merge, because Shoe, I think, is out in deployment. He's in the army, so he's been away for a while. And once he gets back, I'm hoping he can finish the statue and you can improve the shrine even more.
Definitely. I definitely do want to play maybe a bit more with maybe the fog effects around the shrine itself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the like the sort of mountain cloud effects you can get in the CK.
Yeah. That actually might be something else that it's nice to talk about. Like, what are your future plans for this area? We have the merge that should be hopefully done next week. Then we can get back to work. At least the landscaping department can get back to work. No more slacking, no more breaks. Mm-hmm. So, what's your plan?
Well, since our first pass is done, I think maybe definitely for me just to continue working on just making the border regions a bit more natural looking.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think for the first pass, I sort of just made these rock formations just as sort of a barrier. But definitely for the second pass, what I'm looking forward to doing is making it look a bit more natural.
Mm.
Rather than just something to keep the player out. And yeah, definitely going over all of the rest of the Iliad ruins.
Oh yeah.
There's actually an Iliad rune. Unfortunately, my Skyblivion crashed, so I wasn't able to get it because I was looking to get you screenshots of Border Watch, which I've been working on too,
Ooh.
and the Iliad rune Telepe, I think it's called.
Only just realized I forgot to share the stream on Discord. Whoops. You also worked on the border gate, by the way, of which we have a few nice screenshots,
Oh yeah.
which I think turned out quite nicely.
Yeah, and that's still some work to do there with actually making it look like it's lived in, you know. So I'll be adding like a barracks for the troops there.
Yeah, might also be nice at some point to have guards patrolling the gate itself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like have them walk around. Also, so you guys see at least 1 or 2 more weather variations instead of foggy. I made a few screenshots of my own.
Oh yeah.
I actually took that a few days back. I really like this one. You'll see it in a second. This is all without an EMB. It's just staged weathers. It's actually one of the clear weathers for the area.
The nighttime one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
border gate with like the windows lighting up. Ooh, it's so good.
yeah. I took those from the Skyrim fort set.
Mhm.
Not at the.
Yeah, I noticed.
It looks.
It
Okay,
looks
so it
great.
is.
Yeah, like if you're not constantly playing Skyrim for 6 years and not fucking around with the CK all the damn time,
Might
then you
not
won't
notice
notice. And there's one more. Still kind of foggy, but you get the idea.
Oh.
Something else I really like about the area actually is that you have this very dark, almost black-like water, and it's sometimes very hard to get an idea of how deep a pool or a lake is. It might appear
Yeah.
very shallow, and then once you walk into it, like you'll sink right to the bottom.
Yeah, I think one thing I wanted for Blackwood was its waters to be dangerous. Like in the later passes, the one thing I really want to be doing is just adding quite a lot of slaughterfish to the waters. So I really want to make the player afraid of waters, or at least the deep parts.
Mm.
So I was thinking maybe in the future, maybe adding some sort of torch, like a lit torches. You remember in Lord of the Rings where they had the lights?
Yeah.
Only, well, in Lord of the Rings you weren't supposed to follow them, but maybe I'll have it like a still torch placement, maybe showing where's the shallow parts.
Yeah. That would be a very cool idea. Plus, in Skyrim, you have all of these animal carcasses and, well, human remains that you can place around, for instance, dangerous areas.
Yeah.
Like have a hand sticking out of the water here and there.
Those are those tiny little details are the parts I can't wait to get to in the later passes.
Yeah. I think every landscaper should get like a dedicated spot where they can just go nuts with the detailing just to get it out of your system. Because like when you started painting at first, like the very rough strokes are kind of fun because you can get an idea of what you're gonna create. But at a certain point, you kind of just want to get into the nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah. I think that's what I definitely did for like the bottom part. Although I think I kind of had to do that just to show sort of my intentions for the area.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to sort of fast track a few cells just to give like a sample.
Yeah, totally. This is actually a very nice detail. It's one of the roads leading through Blackwood with the totally fucked up cart. One of the screenshots you sent.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, even in Oblivion, the area didn't look very hospitable. Like, it wasn't very inviting compared to the rest of the nice, lush, green, sunny parts of Cyrodiil. So I really like that we're going a bit further on this idea.
Yeah, that road there is actually using the road meshes too, rather than just the painted texture on the
Yeah, I noticed. Looks really nice. Some depth.
Tried to make it look as like broken and choppy as possible.
Yeah, it worked. Looks like shit, but the good kind of shit in this case.
That's pretty much all I've been doing with Black Marsh, the good kind of shit.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty in a measurable sort of way.
Exactly. Oh, this is also a very nice screenshot with the arch. The arches.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite ones I took. It's just sort of peeking out of the fog.
Yeah, you can only just see it. For the people who don't know what we're talking about, in the middle of the screenshot you can see, like in between the fog, two sort of natural rock formations that make like an arch.
Mm-hmm.
Actually zoom in because I can do that. Totally forgot I could do that. That's also a very cool thing about Blackwood. When you're kind of exploring and walking through the area, you can spot like something in the distance, but you can't quite tell what it is. So, for instance, most of the time it'll just be a tree that kind of looked funny, and you'll be disappointed. But that one time you find an alien ruin, or an old well, or an abandoned village, or an actual lived or a village that's being populated by people, or stuff like that. I think is very cool because you can't tell. For instance, in the Heartlands, the weather is usually great, so you can spot from like miles away what's in front of you. And in Blackwood, it's kind of like a surprise.
Yeah. Like something might peek out of the fog, and that always like entices the player to explore it.
Just going through all the screenshots now to show a bit more because I'm doing more talking and not enough showing.
Oh.
You also made one of those ruins, one of the fortresses, and I believe you took out the main entrance and kind of create like a hidden entrance to the back. Or you barricaded the previous entrance and made like a little...
Oh yes, that was Fort Telman, I think. Yeah, there's like the player, going through Cyrodiil will know what the entrance to these forts look like, so they'll know where to go, but they'll see mine and they'll know what the entrance looks like, so when they go up, they'll be stopped by like rubble and a barricade in there.
Yeah.
And there'll obviously be enemies behind it, so the player knows that he or she can get behind that. So that sort of entices them into a bit more exploring and finding a way around it.
I actually really like that because I don't recall anything like that in Skyrim. Actually, it's always there's always a front door and you go through it and that's it. I might be mistaken, but I can't really recall any example in Skyrim where they kind of hit like the second entrance, so to call it, so to speak, and barricade the main entrance.
It's sometimes fun to take away the front door and make them think.
Yeah. Though I've seen articles about achievements and how in certain games like the beginning dungeon is so difficult, or well, it's not really that difficult, but people have to use their brains, and that's not something that we're used to do nowadays in video games. So I'm kind of curious to see how many questions we'll get on the forums or on the website or on social media about how to enter that specific fort.
Mm.
I can imagine we might get quite a few questions or bug reports on how the main entrance is blocked.
And people just like feeling too lazy, so they'll just use TCL to get past it.
Oh yeah. Well, at least we have tried. We tried to be original.
Yeah. I suppose it's a bit tricky. You have to, because it's kind of easy to make a game that you would play. You have to sort of keep in mind that you're going to be making it for other play types as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I think we are striking a really nice balance so far.
Yeah.
Alright, well I'm pretty much running out of screenshots at this point. So is there anything else you want to add, mention, say, discuss?
Oh. I'm not too sure. I've been working very hard, and I just want you all to know that, and you know, love me for it.
Sounds reasonable.
I don't get enough praise for it. You know, you people
Hint,
you people are vultures. Finally, a reason to go to Blackwood. You're damn right. Just to look at how beautifully miserable it is.
Oh, well, I'm seeing some hearts pop up in chat, so that should be enough reason to keep going, at least for one more month, year, decade.
Decades. That's about right.
But yeah, guys, for sure, show Deke some love, because this area isn't one of the prettiest to work with. And I have to say, like, honestly, I am really impressed with what you've done so far.
Thank you.
You know, it's easy for me to just say flatten it, but to actually find someone who can do a decent job and, you know, deal with my constant feedback and nagging, I think that's pretty rare. So, you know, thank you very much for being awesome and great at what you do.
Yeah, I'm awesome. I'm great at what I do.
Okay, well, you don't have to be a dick about it, alright?
Yeah. Did you just say you don't have to be a deek about it? God damn it.
Alright, man, thank you very much for joining us, and I think that's actually all the landscapers that are able to join us today.
Yeah.
So I'll just go over the rest myself, fill in the blanks here and there.
3D guys coming in?
No, I don't think so, actually. Well, you know, it being Saturday and stuff. I mean, I don't have a life, but you guys do. Some of you.
Yeah, tell those fucking 3D guys that we want more architecture.
We want more. We want more. Yeah, I'm actually going to go through a dozen more applicants this week when I have a bit more time, so hopefully we get some good ones, and yeah. Plus the 3D merge, you guys don't realize how much shit there's going to be in the new merge. There's a lot of assets that you haven't seen yet, so...
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, and a lot of new rock formations too to play with. Dirt cliffs.
Nice.
New dirt cliffs. Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to leave you to continue the stream.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Distract you.
And thank you for joining, and well, we'll talk in the future.
No problem. Bye.
Alright, bye. And you guys, everyone, Fun Slider on Twitch is Deke, so add him, tell him what you think about the area, hop onto Discord, give him some feedback, or just tell him that you think his area is great. It's always very rewarding to have people appreciate your work. As you know, we do this for free, and at least this way we can fill our egos. Alright, moving on to... Well, actually, we don't have a guess, so I can pick whatever area I want. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff by Clef J. But I think we will leave that for the end. I'm going to start with an area by one of our new landscapers who goes by The Ludist on Discord. He's been working, technically it's the Great Forest, but it's more like the area between the Great Forest and the Heartlands. So no giant red sequoias. Well, I'll just show you. It's actually not by the Ludist, but by Stark Hornet, who works on a similar area. I kind of threw it together, which is bad, but I ran out of time, so choose the presentation. Stark Hornet's actually a very talented dude who also works on Fallout Miami, a new Fallout 4 project that actually got a lot of attention last month, I think. I think he's one of the department leads. He might be the landscaping lead there. But he's also done work for Skyblivion, and I hope he will stick around. Also, his brother applied to the Skyblivion team, though I haven't heard from him in a little while. But you can tell he's very good at what he does. Also, something to notice is the fantastic trees, bushes, and other flora by Stade, who's been making them really shine recently, making a lot of improvements also to the LOD, which you can see in the distance. And a big, massive thank you to Alpine Hunter, of who I will show some landscaping work in a bit. He's been working on the grasses for Skyblivion. In a lot of these screenshots, you've been seeing all kinds of different grass types. And we worked pretty hard and long on the grasses for every area to make them varied and kind of unique. So as you can see, this area is very lush, green, and the grasses should reflect that. Now the textures on these are not final. A lot of these are supposed to be more colorful, vibrant, and some of them should actually be more toned down. For instance, the grasses in Blackwood to better fit the surrounding area. You can actually see my character creeping in the background. Alright, and here we actually arrive at some work from our Ludist. These two areas are actually very close to each other. As I mentioned, it's technically the Great Forest, but not really, in my opinion anyway. Also, something you will notice with some of these screenshots, they're not all taken by me. So for instance, the Ludist does not have the correct grasses, or the latest grasses from a few screenshots back. Also, I don't think he has the weathers by state, so the quality in screenshots is a bit different. But if you can look past that, you can appreciate the landscaping work being done here. And of course, it's all a work in progress. We generally haven't really started on detailing. A lot of our work currently is what we call a first and second pass, which are the major changes. For instance, lowering or raising the landscape itself to better reflect the nature of the area. For instance, like we mentioned with Blackwood, it's supposed to be a marsh, but in Oblivion it was very high up and very hilly, so we made it a lot more flat and unique compared to other areas. Same with this area. Some nice overgrown alien ruins. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's actually it. We have a few more of these smaller areas to go through. I mentioned Alpine Hunter, who's been helping with the grasses and who also happens to be a fantastic landscaper. He's been working on the Gerald Mountains, which is where Bruma is located. And right here I have a screenshot comparing, well, essentially the same area before and after Alpine got his hands on it. And as you can see, it is quite different. The mountain on the left side of your screen in the background remains unchanged. This is because it was being worked on prior to Alpine joining the team. Actually, no, those are the LOD that have been generated already. So my bad. Which actually brings up another interesting point. On the right side of the screen, you can see these empty flats. Well, not flat, but these empty mountainsides. This is from the ported Oblivion world space. So when we started on Skyblivion, the original game world was ported to the Skyrim engine. And this is what the mountains in Oblivion actually look like for those who have not played Oblivion themselves or haven't played it in quite some time. So if you compare the left and the right side of the screen, you can see quite a big difference between how the Skyblivion mountains will look like and how the Oblivion mountains look like. Which I think is pretty interesting. Also, thanks to Marcus Liberty from the Beyond Skyrim project, we have a fantastic new Blades headquarter to work with. You can make a lot of improvements there. Generally, cities and locations like these are areas that we don't really touch yet. We will eventually get to those. But our first priority is the landscape surrounding those, and then once those are in more final states, we can work on detailing the landmarks themselves and the cities. Also, I hope, I never bothered to ask, but if you guys can still hear the music and if it's not intrusive in any way, because we do still have quite a lot to go through. We have the 3D department, texture department, states, lighting, and to finish it off, the spellcrafting. Alright, sounds good. Great. Thank you very much for the feedback. So yeah, this is all still very close to Bruma. Again, done by Alpine. You can also see his grasses on screen. Which are quite fitting, like these dry tundra, snowy grasses. And his landscaping work is just top-notch. This guy is a legend. He works very, very fast, and I usually have a lot of things to complain about, but this guy kind of nails it on the head. He's very good at creating authentic and natural-looking environments, which is a very hard thing to do. Very hard. Very difficult. And this screenshot I really liked, because first of all, the elk is breaking his leg on this rock on the left. But mostly because the fireplace looks very cozy, and it's kind of an old, more or less abandoned, well, it's not abandoned, Apple Watch, cottage in a very inhospitable area of the map, or at least it's very cold. So unless you're a Nord, you'd rather not be living all the way out here. And in the background you can again see the walls of Bruma. And Bruma is where... I know you finished the sentence. No, none of these screenshots that have been shown are using an EMB. This is all just proper weathers and lighting. There's actually a lot of things that can be done, and in comparison, the weathers done by Stade are just miles ahead of those in vanilla Skyrim for some reason. And yeah, you can edit the density, of course. And here we have a very nice shot of the front gate of Bruma. the snowy road leading up to it. Which is actually the last screenshot I have of this area. And again, you can see the right-hand corner, the actual mountains, the actual Gerald Mountains, like we've seen them in Skyrim. And for a bit of a nostalgia trip, I prepared a small album called Outside of the Sewers. I think we all know what that means. It's a very small collection of screenshots that show the first things you'll see in Skyblivion once you do exit those sewers. Your first alien ruin. And on some of these you can see the new and improved HUD, the new interface for Skyblivion, which is looking very nice. And to top it all off, being attacked by a deer, which appears to be on crack or cocaine. Which brings me to the Clovian Highlands, worked on by Clef J, who you're probably all familiar with. He streamed a lot in the past. Wasn't able to make it today, unfortunately. He had work. So I'll be showing his area and talking a bit about it. Oh yeah, the song in the background is actually composed for Skyblivion. It's an original track by Frederick Jonasson. If you type in Frederick Jonasson on YouTube or Frederick and Skyblivion, you'll find his songs, soundtracks. This soundtrack, or the song that you're hearing right now, is actually for the Gold Coast. And actually, why didn't I think of this? Sorry to interrupt it, but we actually have a track for the Clovian Highlands. So I'll just flip through these screenshots while you listen to the music you'll be hearing when exploring this area. And then afterwards I'll talk a bit about it. All right. Well, the screenshots I was showing are actually a bit dated. This is Battlehorn Castle, by the way. I don't have any better screenshots of it. As I mentioned before, I was kind of in a hurry before starting the stream. What I can show, which I'm going to show anyways, but later on, is the concept art for Battlehorn Castle. There we go. Which I hope you guys can appreciate. So the Colovian Highlands. The Colovian Highlands are a very distinct area in Cyrodiil. They're close to Hammerfell. They share a lot of resemblance with the Gold Coast, being a bit of a drier region with less vegetation. This doesn't mean it's empty, like any area that is dry-ish. You'll find a lot of pine trees. There will be lakes throughout the area that, on the contrary, are filled with a lot of life, lots of flora, lots of plants. And at one of the highest points on the Colovian Highlands, or in the Colovian Highlands, you will actually find a small settlement, which is inhabited by an innkeeper and 2 other souls, and you'll usually be able to find some imperial foresters who are out on patrol in the inn. Let's see, where is it? There she is. Which I think was a really nice touch. There's also something that we're doing throughout the map. We're adding small settlements, lumber mills, to kind of indicate that people are, well, not just residing in the big cities, but also outside in the wild, trying to make a living for themselves. Which more or less wraps up the Colovian Highlands. After which I want to move on to an album called Clef J, which is more or less all of his work done by him. This is in the area of Skingrad, kind of below the city to the border of the map, to the east. You actually saw this area in the latest update trailer from a few months back. With the new Allied crystals by Stade, with fantastic new effects. And textures by Clarence. Textures on screen are not final. Nothing on screen is final, for that matter. Also another great shot where you can see the great new grasses. For instance, how the grasses towards the road, which get stamped on a lot, are a lot smaller. Which is a nice detail. And the glacier near the borders of Morrowind. The Valus Mountains. This area of the map is a bit more alien. It's similar to the Gerald Mountains in that it's covered in snow. But it has a bit of an alien feel to it. It has these odd rock formations, these pillars. The rock, or the mountain itself, has a slightly different texture. You can actually see some Morrowind, or some Dunmer campers in the right side of the screen. right there. And we're back in Skingrad with a wonderful view of the city and the vineyards. And one of the new armor sets, the chain armor. And again, the new wonderful grasses by Alpine. And specifically this area around Skingrad has a lot of flowers. So there's a lot more color in the grasses. This is also the mine just outside Skingrad, where you can see the peaks of the Clovian Highlands in the background. And a wonderful sunset, which is one of the many new weathers by Stade. And again, no ENB or any post effects. This is just straight from the game. As soon as Skyblivion releases, this is exactly how it will look for you. And the Imperial City, which has also been improved upon quite a lot compared to Oblivion. The island has been made to look a lot more natural, but also being that this area was mostly unused, we decided to place a lot of farms around the isle. Seeing how many people there are in the Imperial City, by the looks of it, in vanilla Oblivion, all of the food was being imported from the other cities. But we figured that there's a lot of empty space that could be used to grow wheat or potatoes or tomatoes, whatever. And we figured we'd better utilize that space to do exactly that. You'll find a lot of farms on the island, and the windmills, of course, which will feed the city. Or the citizens. And also, of course, the Imperial Legion, which are stationed at the back. There's now an Imperial headquarters at the back. You can see it at the other side of this part of the city. This is more or less a boot camp where the new legionnaires get trained. And here we also have a very unique and recognizable location. Well, it's not recognizable anymore. But I'm curious to see who can guess where we are right now. Yeah, Dive Rock, exactly. Yeah, so Dive Rock is now actually a rock that one can dive off of. I wouldn't recommend it. It's quite a steep fall. And there's, well, quite a ways down. But with maybe a feather enchantment, who knows? You might just make it. Also gives you a nice view of most of the map. The Jarl Mountains are blocking a huge part of Cyrodiil, though. But you can see Blackwood. You can see Cheydinhal. You can see the Imperial City. Clovian Highlands in the background. The Niben. And this is more work around Skingrad, done by ClevJ. And this is a screenshot I just took this morning. Or this afternoon, actually, just before the stream started. Doesn't show you a whole lot, except for the house where you can get the quest for the slaughterfish skills. And my character standing outside of Way Inn, I think it's called. Way. W-E-I-E. Oh yeah, this is also one of the new settlements. Near Skingrad, kinda. It's in the vicinity. It has a big lumber mill and a few houses. Nothing special, but enough to support, let's say, 2 or 3 families. On the left, you can see the lumber mill. And again, screenshot right outside of the city sewers. And I think that might be it. Or am I lying? I might be lying. Oh, yep. Nope, I'm lying. Not it at all. We get more. This is also the Valus Mountains. The weathers aren't fantastic to showcase, that is. The weathers themselves are fantastic. It's just one of the many variations. At the beginning of the slideshow, you noticed the more bright and colorful weathers. This is one of the more toned down weathers, and, well, it's again a picture of the glacier. Camp nearby. More glacier. And more or less an ancient spa. This is one of the many lore additions. I forgot what this place is called. But it's been described in lore for Cyrodiil, and it was added by ClefJ. Not sure who found it. It certainly wasn't me. Wish it was. It's a very, very cool addition. And the cave inside the glacier. And finally, the shrine, which was worked on during the streams, one of the many streams that ClefJ hosted. Which looks a lot more what's the word? Ominous? Well, looks a lot more scary than it used to. With, if you can spot it, a hanging body. Corpse hanging from the bridge. And last but not least, I think. Nope, we have even more. We got Harrow Hill. Harrow Hill was, well, it didn't really look like much in Oblivion. We hope you enjoy this view a bit more for this unique location. Like a lot of locations, it was based off of concept art by Rob, or by one of our concept artists, in this case Rob. Let me pull it up real quick. There we go. And as you can see, it looks quite close to what ClefJ made out of it. Which looks great. And this is the area behind it with, well, Morrowind is actually behind all of these rock formations and the mountains. And moving on, we have Kvatch, which has also been worked on a bit. Not much, though. You can actually see the new Oblivion Gate that was made by Cream and Chunk. The textures, etc., are not final yet. They don't do the model justice, to be honest. We're still working on those. But you can see there's a lot more destruction added. A lot more debris, a lot more fire. Almost as if the city was invaded by Daedra. And Shrine of Azura, with again Kvatch burning in the background. It's a farm close to Skingrad. Especially the farm where you had to kill those bears. I forgot what it's called though. My bad. And that was it for Clef, actually. We've been going on for quite a while already. I've only been talking about the landscaping so far. It's already 6 o'clock. Alright, well let's power through. Next up we have the area that's been worked on by Arxie in the Gold Coast. Nice location to start, I think, would be with a small showcase of the aqueduct for Such, which is a city that got cut from Oblivion. We are adding it back as a ruined city. And Arxie created an aqueduct that in the past would have supplied the city with water. A resource that, well, everyone needs. When you discover Such, it'll be, well, a giant mess. A ruin. But quite worth exploring. And I actually have a nice piece of concept art again. Or Such. There we go. I think this would be a great place to have guarded by undead and ghosts. Maybe some treasure hunters or bandits. We'll think of something nice to do with the area. But now, an area that Arxie and I too am very proud of. Anvil. Anvil is being redesigned based on the original concept art for Oblivion, which I will pull up right there. It's very low resolution, but this is the best that's available on the internet. This is the original concept art for Anvil. A very unique coastal city. In Oblivion, it didn't quite turn out to look well like this. Biggest reason being that open cities was not a thing that was supported. Well, at least not something that could be pulled off on the consoles at that time. And I think you'll enjoy what we created, what we thought of. Now this concept is also done by Rob. The city itself will not be open because we're making quite a few improvements, which include a lot more NPCs, houses, and clutter. So if the city would be open, there would be some performance issues, and this way we can have the best of both worlds. So the way we achieve this is by, well, obviously recreating the city as it was originally supposed to look like. But we added a second wall that keeps the docking area and the city separated. So it's quite similar to the old city in that regard. The docking area is still separated from the city itself, so the docking area will be out in the open world, and behind the walls you will be able to enter the city. Now the water has a water gate, similar to the water gate found in Riften, for instance, in Skyrim, which also keeps the player from entering the city that way. And I'll now show you some screenshots of what this area actually turned out to look like. So the lighthouse itself is located on a series of rock formations, which was previously just more like a dirt hill. And here you can see the water gate, which can keep out any enemy ships during, for instance, an invasion in times of war, which is also another great reason to actually separate the docking area and the rest of the city, because it's very easy to enter the city through the water, and without any defenses the city would just fall in a matter of days. There's also some color that's been added. There's not a whole lot of detailing that's been going on, that's been done so far in landscaping departments, but Anvil being a city has been worked on a bit more when it comes to the details. So for instance, this rowboat with sack, some rocks. it's very stupid, like it's very small and minor, but it'll make the world feel so much more lived in and realistic when Skyblivion does release. It's stuff that most people don't even notice, unless you make a comparison, or unless they play Oblivion first and then play Skyblivion. Then they'll notice how much stuff we've added, how much details are in this game now. Either way, we enjoyed working on it, so it's a win-win. What's also nice is you'll see a lot of these sand piles. To anyone who's ever been to the beach, sand gets carried away with the wind, so you get these sand piles everywhere, which again is one of those small little details that I personally do enjoy a lot. This is the ship where you can get Red Wave, which now actually has a unique model, which we will show off a bit later on. And another look at the lighthouse. Now please do ignore the horrible textures and meshes for these docks. And as pointed out in the past, you can see Kvatch burning from all over the map. From all over the map, the smoke will be visible. So even when you're in the Gold Coast, completing a quest to get an awesome, unique sword or saber called Red Wave, as soon as you enter or exit the ship, you'll again be notified or reminded what happened at Kvatch. Or for people like me who tend to forget the main quest, the smoke will always remind you of that one task you have left, which is to save Kvatch. And here's a nice bird eye view of the city. This was actually using the old rowboats from Oblivion, which were bathtubs pretty much, compared to these actual rowboats that we have now. And this is the inside of the city as it is currently. As you can see, a lot different from Oblivion. A lot different. The city itself is much bigger too, which I think is very nice. You can walk from one way to, or from one part of the city to the other part in a matter of seconds anymore. And for some reason, this guy totally noticed me. A few more shots of the docking area. And last but not least, a picture of the map showing the city with, well, the new LOD, which I think looks really nice. It's not perfect. We still have to work on the LOD, but it gives you a nice idea of how the city has been changed and how it looks very similar to the concept art made for it now. looking at these two, especially if you look at the original concept art. I think we're doing quite well. And again, you can see Kavach, for instance. I forgot what this road is called. The Gold Road, maybe? Would make sense. Oh yeah, it's actually called the Gold Road. Alright. We're almost done with the landscape. Yeah, the last thing I actually wanted to show, I talked about this a few times now, is just the grasses for Skyblivion, how they are very different based on the areas that you're going through. For instance, in this case, the Colovian Highlands, which are very dry-ish. And then we have Skingrad, which is far more lush and has a lot of flowers. Or the Imperial City, which are very tall and long grasses, very green. This is a nice in-between. That's not grass. The snowy, more dry tundra grasses that we know from Skyrim, which is located, or this screenshot was taken in the Jarl Mountains, which is very close to the Skyrim border. The Jarl Mountains actually are a shared mountain region between Skyrim and Cyrodiil. Grass in the Great Forest. The Valus Mountains. And that more or less wraps it up for the landscaping department. So again, I want to actually thank the landscapers who joined the stream. If you have feedback for them, or if you're watching the stream back in the future, feel free to give them some feedback or just love support on our Discord channel. And then it is a good time to move on to the 3D department, of which we actually have a lot to show. I think a good set to start off with is the Mithril armor. Actually, you know what? We're gonna start with yeah, no. You know what? Mithril armor is good. We actually got an update this morning. This is the current work in progress Mithril armor. Now, note that it's not final at all. Textures still being worked on. This is all placeholder. It looks quite cartoony, but what you should notice is the details in the mesh, which are quite extraordinary. I'm really looking forward to how this armor is going to shape up. This was the same armor a few weeks ago. Shield. And the chainmail. This is actually not from the same sets, but the artist showed the screenshot of his riveted chainmail work, which is quite convincing and awesome and detailed, which I thought I might as well show off real quick. I'm going to go through these a little bit fast because we don't have people from the 3D department joining us during this stream. Next up we have the iron armor, which is being worked on by Netherform, who unfortunately is taking a little break from the project, but we hope he will be back soon. He's been doing some of these, he's been doing some of the work on this on Twitch. Actually, so you might recognize this from an earlier stream. These are all progress shots, so slowly you can see the armor set taking shape. Especially in this screenshot, where the back plates, or the front plates and the boots have been more or less finished. Also the gauntlets, if you look at the screenshots from before, there you go. The armor is still very flat and Oof, there we go. Unfortunately, a lot of work goes into creating an armor set. So they do take quite a lot of time to complete. Onto McCarthy, who's been doing... Oh, I totally forgot to mention that Borks is the person working on the Mithril armor. McCarthy, one of our other semi-recent 3D artists, is currently working on the Mithril armor. Don't have a lot of good shots of this, though. Again, these textures can be ignored. It's just more or less to show off the color palette more than anything else. This is actually one of the better shots I have of this armor set. But yeah, this is the new chainmail. Which is one of the lower tier, or well, actually low to mid tier, light armor sets from Oblivion. And another exciting one also by McCarthy is the arena armor, the new arena armor. So as you know, the arena armor sets, well, there are two. There's light armor and there's heavy armor. This is the heavy armor set, based on concept art that will be shown in a little bit. I really hope I'm able to get through everything tonight. I actually prepared a bit of a random album of all kinds of assets. For instance, Azure Star, the Iliad architecture. The textures are placeholders. You can ignore those, but focus on the mesh, which is being worked on by Liam. Jinxie from Skywind actually made the Star of Azura. With new textures, so it fits the Oblivion model a bit better. Some food by Riarsh. All small stuff that needs to be done. The new trees, which shouldn't be in this list, I just realized. New fences by Cream and Chunk. A new bridge, also by Cream and Chunk. A well for Envil. Forgot who did that because I'm an asshole. And I'm sorry. More Iliad architecture by Liam. Skooma by Yogensia. A blackberry, very important. And something that's very cool. Oh fuck, I'm skipping on the name. You can find his statue in the Imperial City. He was supposed to be like half man, half bull, or actually kind of a minotaur. Oh fuck. Well. Is. No, I forgot his name. Not very important, but here are some miscellaneous assets. An example of Oblivion versus Skyblivion meshes and the quality of them. And textures. An onion, garlic, potions by Yogensia, which you've probably seen by now. The different models resemble the different qualities of said potion. In Skyrim, the most expensive potions are 2 liters, and the cheapest potions are like 10 centiliters, which I always thought very odd. Our idea that instead of chugging a ginormous potion, we should kind of show with the model that the potion is of a higher quality. Because I'm not gonna down 2 liters of fluid mid-battle. Some tools. Another statue. The bar set Mortar and pestle. Different stages. Gold nuggets, silver nuggets, also very important. A new rope mesh. A chest. Different types of potions. Health, stamina, magica. Shears. Again, I can't recall the fucking name of this dude. Yes, Moriaus. Nice, thank you. That was gonna drive me nuts. Strawberry. Wheat, which you will see in the farms. And underwater foliage. Because we are trying to make the water a bit more interesting to explore. Hidden chests, hidden locations, and foliage to kind of make the place feel a bit more lived in. Well, not lived in, but natural. And I think last but not least, by one of our new artists, Siki Furniture from Oblivion. This is her scene, by the way. Someone said her scene. There he is. There we go, there's the furniture. And again, is there a star? Yes, Oldrim can support all of this. Also, something that's very interesting to showcase are the creatures that are being worked on right now. This is the Clanfair. I don't have a more recent shot. It's actually done. Textured and everything. But I don't have a more recent screenshot of him, unfortunately. Wolf Gowlin was actually nice enough to give away a poster, which we gave away on Instagram, on our Instagram account. He sent one of you guys a poster of this awesome beast. It's The New Red by Ravana, also done for Skywind. The Gatekeeper done by Hakan. The Mud Crab. A Daedroth. And the Rat, there we go. Try to keep these bastards alive if you ever do a quest to protect some rats in a basement. There's a certain lady who will be very upset when they die. Oh, almost forgot this one. Ixilvali. Here we have the Ring of Wardcraft. This is a unique piece of jewelry. I'm kind of rushing through these, but there's a ton of stuff I have still to cover. Like, it's insane. We're gonna move on to the weapons right now. And yeah, there are so many. There's so many. This is the Akaviri Thunderblade. The concept art for this was made by Rob, who does most of the unique weapons, or at least the concept art for them. On the left side, you'll see a Blades katana from Skyrim, and on the right side, you'll see the Akaviri Thunderblade katana for Skyblivion. What you'll be able to notice very easily is the level of quality. The katanas are from Akavir, and as such, Rob went with a sort of snakeskin design for the handle, which I think worked out very well. Because your average Imperial blacksmith or your average Nord blacksmith does not create katanas. Well, I mean, you can in the games, but, you know, they wouldn't actually create them themselves. Those would need to be imported. This is a look at the blade when it was still a work in progress. Even more a work in progress. And there we have the finished blade. With an amazing looking sheath. And back to in-game. Another sword that's interesting is the Ember Sword, or the entire Ember weapon set that's being worked on by Kettlewitch. Unfortunately, I only have the sword to showcase. The Ember Shield was also made, but I don't have a screenshot of that ready. I only just thought of that one. So I do apologize. But that one is part of the Shivering Isles DLC, as you probably know. Another really awesome, unique weapon is the Axe of Hatred. The concept art for this again was made by by Rob. Sorry. And the axe itself was created by Marco Antonio, who is an excellent 3D artist. Now, the story of the axe can be read on the axe itself. The engravings kind of tell you where the axe came from, and well, you can find all the information on ArtStation, on Rob's ArtStation to be specific. It might be one of my favorite weapons so far, simply just because of the detail. Like, the whole story on the axe itself, I would have never thought of that. You're a genius. Also, a sword that you will probably all remember, and my favorite weapon in all of the Elder Scrolls games, is Chillrend. Which was also made by Kettlewitch, which just looks fantastic. The amount of detail on this one is just insane. This one was actually made without any concept art whatsoever. Kettlewitch just kind of winged it and did an amazing job. Amazing job. Another fun one. Goldbrand. I think we're all familiar with Goldbrand. Another katana. Here's some random shots in game. And a more ironic, unique weapon, the hoe, which can be wielded. This is still a work in progress. It's not finished, but I thought I'd show it off anyways, because I think it's just a very interesting weapon. The concept art for it is pretty funny too, which I will showcase later. And here's another work in progress look at the iron weapon set. Doesn't look like much now, but it'll look great eventually. Another nice weapon to showcase is Mehrunes' Razor. Ignore the scabbard in this render. It's been replaced by this one. I think the dagger turned out very, very nicely. And a weapon I was talking about when we were showcasing Anvil is Red Wave, which is a unique saber that you would get as a quest reward. Only in Oblivion it wasn't unique. So we made a unique model for it. And you can see where it got the name Red Wave from. The hilt, the handle, all these wave kind of patterns, which just look really, really cool. And also on the blade itself, sort of a wave. Yeah, I'm really proud of our art and 3D department. They've been doing a banger job. Here's another nice weapon. It's Shimmer Strike, which you can get in the arena questline. Well, actually, you cannot get any weapons because you're not allowed to pick them up. when you fight your opponent. But you'll be able to get your hands on this amazing dagger through an interesting sort of quest or scripted event, really. Another weapon by Marco is the Staff of Apotheosis. Which is a unique two-handed staff. And here are the steel battle axes. This is the difference between the regular steel axe and the fine steel axe. Higher quality wood, engravings on the blade. Better quality steel. And this was made by Zuna. And Volendrung. Also an interesting weapon. This was from quite some time ago. There we have some more recent shots. And this one should also soon be finished and in-game, like a lot of our weapons. And the last weapon we have is a saber, also created by Creamachunk, who did the bridges I showed earlier, and the farm fences. And that is it for the 3D department, at least for this month. Actually, we still have lighting, textures, and the user interface to go through. But this has been going on for quite some time. So, are you guys able to stick it out for another hour, maybe? I'm not quite sure how long this will take, to be honest. Looks like we've already been live for quite some time. I think I might save it for the next stream. Let's just call this part 1. It was more or less an experiment anyway. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we kind of wanted to see how people would react to something like this. Just talking with the developers. Maybe next time we will get some more people on board to talk about their work. Would certainly be interesting. We have more than enough to showcase. And we also had some ideas for better video updates. For instance, what I was thinking of doing is, well, what we did today was a long ass stream, like a really long stream, talking about just more or less everything we've been working on. And I think something like a 50-minute video showcasing very specific parts of the project with a proper commentary and scripts might be interesting for you guys. It would take some effort, but might be a nice distraction for me personally. Other than that, we are currently merging all our 3D and landscaping work, and once that's done, I can look into a bigger gameplay demo. And we can do a charity stream, which we've been wanting to do for a while. I'll also be going to Germany next month to showcase a Skyblivion demo to a gaming magazine, to GameStar. You might know them if you're German, which is going to be really fun. So yeah, lots of things to be excited about. Lots of stuff to show. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. By all means, let us know on Discord if you think streams like this should be done more frequently. Also, a personal question. I want to make a bit of a gameplay trailer. I've been wanting to do one for, I think, about a year. But with all the progress being made in the landscaping departments, I've been holding it off again and again because I want to run through a semi-finished environment or finish a semi-functional quest without any bugs, or wield an awesome weapon. So yeah, I've been thinking of how I could best go about a gameplay trailer. It would only be a few minutes long, but if you have any ideas for it, let me know. Let us know on Discord. Having all that said, I want to thank the people who joined us on stream. I want to thank the entire Skyblivion team as a whole. They are an amazing bunch of people, very talented artists, and obviously very generous as they are all doing this in their free time. And if you have some time to spare, send them some appreciation. Give them some love on Twitch or Discord. Let them know you enjoy their work. Alright guys, and girls, have an amazing weekend. And also on a side note, I want to thank everyone for the support they've shown towards me recently. I really do appreciate that. Kind of needed it. Yeah. You're making my life a bit easier, because it hasn't been easy. So just wanted to say thank you. You're an amazing community. Thank you for supporting Skyblivion, and hopefully we can do this again next month.